6:07, coming off another big holiday weekend during the ongoing coronavirus. We want to break down the numbers and talk a little trends now.
Bama Tracker has really become a popular go-to site as people are just thirsty for facts and data to help them make safe decisions. So joining us again on our morning show, David Marconnet with Bama Tracker. David, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
You bet. Welcome back to the show. Finally, the Alabama Department of Public Health has unveiled its 14-day trend, which you've been suggesting all along. What's the most glaring aspect about where we are now with the 14-day trend? Big takeaways right now.
Well, definitely cases are definitely on the rise, especially in like Madison County, for example. I was just looking and we've had 50% of our cases in the last 14 days.
That's extremely high, yeah.
Coming off the holiday weekend, if all things are consistent compared to the last holiday weekend, Memorial Day, do you think we're looking at another potential spike, maybe higher numbers, some more pressure on the hospitals coming out?
Yeah, I do wonder that. We saw a spike about 2 to 3 weeks after Memorial Day weekend. It then kind of leveled a little bit and then it spiked again. Just last week. I mean, we were having record numbers in many counties and statewide. So I think it's very possible, very likely that we could see another increase after the 4th of July, probably in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, just depending, but I do think that's likely.
David, you've been keeping a close watch on confirmed hospitalization numbers right now. That reached a new high. You were just pointing this out yesterday. A new high, 885, with only 89 hospitals reporting. You say that's normal for a weekend. The 7-day average now about 813. Talk about that trend in probably the last few days, where we may be headed with confirmed hospitalizations.
Well, I do think the hospitalizations will lag the new cases. So if we're seeing, record highs of new cases, I think it's just a matter of days before we see a continued increase in hospitalizations around the state. I'm only able to see the statewide numbers, not per county, but I've seen other local news stories that show that our local hospitals are seeing an influx of new patients too. So I think that is happening around the state. The health department is reporting higher numbers than we've ever seen just in the last few days. And again, I think it's likely to see that increase even more so as cases increase in the coming weeks after this holiday weekend.
David, looking at Morgan and Madison counties specifically, they're talking about potentially pulling a trigger on some sort of mandatory mask ordinance. The way the numbers stand right now, seeing the trend, how strong of an argument could leaders make for mandatory wearing face coverings with what we're seeing right now?
I think there's an argument to be made just because cases are on the rise. I mean, if you've got a county like Madison and half of our cases have come in the last 14 days, I think that's something you should consider. Morgan County is not much better. In fact, based on population, they actually have higher cases per capita. So I think those are numbers that the leadership should consider. I think everyone could be doing their part and just wear their mask, to protect other people as you go out.
About 30 seconds left, David. You track that R0 number, which if it's below 1.0, the virus will stop spreading. We have been above 1.0 for almost 2 months now. Not trying to shock or frighten anyone right now, but just given the trends, do you see a scenario of any kind of danger area where there is no way to stop that spread, or it can be reduced or maybe leveled out anytime soon?
I mean, I do believe we could lower the spread, stop it from spreading exponentially. I think just by wearing our masks and doing our part to protect the people around us, taking those precautions, I think that would go a long ways to bringing that down. It has just been kind of increasing steady, but which lines up a lot with the cases that we're seeing and the other trends like hospitalizations too.
Okay, we're all seeing this data. Our leaders are seeing this data as well. We'll see if it affects policy. In the meantime, David Marconnet with Bama Tracker, we'll have you back on, but thanks for joining us on the show again this morning.
Thank you again.
Absolutely. It is 6:12 right now on your Monday morning.